Hello. I clapped my hands. When I clap my hands, that means that the podcast has started. We're making the whatever episode of the Sting of Time.
3 and 3,
2 frees in a row. Uh,
which means we have just watched The Scorpion King for the 33rd time.
yes, we have watched it 33 times. The 33rd time that we watched The Scorpion King starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Stephen Brand, Michael Duncan Clark, Kelly Hu, uh, Bernard Hill.
And
I forget.
Armin,
Ar-
isn't his name Armin or something?
I don't know what his name is. He is in the movie too. For this watch, we
Or
saw.
maybe his name is like Grant.
Yeah, oh yeah, Grant Heslov.
Yeah,
Is
there
it
we go.
something
His
like that?
name
Yeah.
is something I think I've forgotten what Armpit's name is for real in the movie.
Who cares? We watched it third times, as you say in languages. I'm really tired because I slept really poorly tonight, and I've also done a lot of things today, and I didn't want to watch The Scorpion King, but I said I did. So
I
here
believe
we are.
you set this day. You
Suggested it. Yes,
suggested this, so
I suggested we watch it, but at that point in the day, I wasn't deathly tired.
no, you only had a stinging headache. You hadn't
Yes. Uh,
divulged.
divulge these. I was gonna say that we watched The Sting of Time. I mean, Scorpion King, and then we before we started watching it, or rather shortly after we started watching it, we changed the audio pitch to be lower
Yes, we
than
lowered the pitch by 5.
five. Five audio pitch lowerings were made in VLC media player, and that made everybody sound like some kind of demon when they spoke. And I can't make a demon voice.
No,
Uh,
you need to be fully rested to make a
yes,
demony
yes.
voice.
My voice making abilities are somewhat diminished.
Do you know that we have now? You probably do know it because I told you while we were watching the movie, but we are now done with the 33rd watch, which means that we are now less than 20 viewings of the movie remaining,
Yes.
which seems like a momentous occasion, does it not?
It seems that way. It doesn't feel that way. I feel like I have the same momentum I had before that momentous occasion took place.
Mm.
My momentum has not changed. You know that video of the physics teacher who's swinging like a
A
ball on a
sword
rope,
around,
a
viciously
ball on a rope
swinging a
or
sword
whatever,
around.
and he's gonna be like, oh, if I let go of this ball, holding it here, it's gonna swing to the other side of the classroom and then come back, and it's not gonna hit me in the face because of physics. I'm like that, except it does hit me in the face.
Mm.
It just clocks me. So I do not have the same momentum. I have a higher momentum, fast in the negative sense, a higher momentum towards a crash of my own doom and
Mm.
demise.
Perhaps it is your tired state speaking.
Yes.
I feel pretty elated, I have to say. Though, to be fair, um, I think I'm generally a pretty uh, even, a very even emotional state in general.
My emotional state is extremely even. I'm just tired. Being tired is not an emotion.
But I do feel like you being tired has impacted your emotional state uh, to
You
being perhaps.
think you're starting to impact my emotional state
Oh,
more
but
than
I wouldn't because you're so even.
well, maybe it's tilting towards a certain unevenness right
Oh,
now. But I am ever ever changing. I am capable of re
So
evaluating my
okay, yeah,
stance.
yeah. I would describe the ever changing nature of your stance definitionally as not even.
Yes, but that's not because I'm tired. That's because you're starting to get on my nerves, and if you were here,
Yeah, I'm sure
I would become physically violent.
I'm sure your physical state of being extremely tired has zero impact on how annoying you find me currently. I think
Because
these two things are completely unrelated.
perhaps I always find you extremely annoying. Like I always want to uh, just dispatch you into a pit somewhere and bury you. That's just like the regular state, but I keep that bottled up with my amazing evenness, and now that evenness is
I don't think that's
being
evenness. I think that's maybe an evenness in outcome. But if you truly felt like you wanted to, what was the wording? Dispatch me into a bottomless pit.
put you in an uneven grave.
Yeah. If I would describe that as somewhat uneven. Or unless it is a constant state of feeling
It might be from this day
that.
on the way it feels right
Well,
now.
that's pretty even.
Yes.
You also had a what I would describe as pretty serious bout of hiccups during the watching of this movie.
Yes, I got severe hiccups, uh, and I don't know why, and it didn't matter how hard I tried.
A
Uh,
good 15, 20 minutes, I would say.
Yes, and I'm usually very good at dispelling hiccupian ailments in my land, but this time it didn't really work. Eventually they went away, evidently, but it took a lot of willpower, more willpower than is usually adequate
Yeah, you had to
for
apply your evenness
such maladies. Yes, that is true.
to steamroll the hiccups into compliance. I had read a study about the hiccups, which suggests digital rectal
Mm,
massage, which I
yeah.
assume you didn't apply,
No,
but you do
no,
know
I
it
didn't.
for the future.
I just held my breath. Uh,
And that is digital as in fingers, not any other. There's no high tech rectal
oh,
massage
okay.
going on. It's just digital as in digits.
I thought it was like a Zoom meeting,
No,
but
they didn't go.
with your butt.
It's an
Uh,
ASMR rectal massage.
More like an ass MR. Am I right? Uh, I was gonna say I had one question for you, which I uh, concocted. You have to stop doing that.
Why? Are
I'm
you
not
too
gonna.
tired for this? Is it?
Yes, I can't abide tomfoolery such as this when I am trying to concoct serious questions about the movie Scorpion Time,
Yeah, go ahead.
Sting of Kings. Uh, without relating too much to like just this specific watch, though I guess it should be that since this was the watch we just did. Uh, do you feel that the movie has become better or worse after 33 times? And I'd like you to think a bit before you answer. Like,
Okay.
like, uh, like, uh, because when you watch the movie one time, it's just a bad movie, if you have sensible
But
taste
okay,
and faculties.
I'm
But
gonna just ask you here. You're gonna have to clear. Maybe you were actually going there, and I just interrupted
yeah,
you. But
maybe I'll
but
just not explain it now. Maybe your interruption has
are
ruined the
are you?
question forever.
Is the question? Is the movie better now after 33 than the first time, or is it
Yes.
better after 33 compared to some nebulous point in which it was worse? Are you asking
It,
me if the movie has been worse,
uh,
or if it?
I hadn't thought of it like that, but like whichever. Is it better now than it was the first time? Sure.
that's a definite no on
Okay.
that. It hasn't improved from the first watch, but this is not the worst. Watching
No,
it now hasn't been the worst one, so it has technically
yeah, but
improved from
I'm not
other.
thinking like strictly in terms of the watch, more like, the movie itself as
Mm,
a product.
sure, but to me, those things are pretty intrinsically linked. Because I'm so even,
Mm.
I can sort of extract any
But
emotional state
I
from
think
watching the movie.
the next time I see you, I think I'll intrinsically link you to a pavement or something. But
Yeah. Oh, sure.
that's
Um, but I do.
that's
Yeah.
my prerogative.
I would say no. I think the movie was better the first time. It wasn't much better,
Yeah,
but it was
I'm in,
better.
I'm inclined to agree. I think the movie's gotten worse every time.
I
Uh,
wouldn't agree with that though. I
well,
don't think the movie has gotten
I
worse.
would agree with that.
Hmm. Maybe you'll have to sleep on it.
I agree on that. Uh,
I did mention something which made me think a bit. In the throne room scene where Cassandra teleports. Um,
yes, the teleportation, the
yeah,
famous
the famous
teleportation scene.
teleportation. And I mentioned it in
It's Memnon that teleports.
both of them teleport
Well,
for
whatever.
sure. Because she's way, yeah, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Someone teleports. Might be both, might be one of them. But that scene made me think about watching the movie 33 times and how that scene, and I said as much, that scene gives me a physical reaction of, I can't believe they let this editing
Yeah,
mistake slide, and
I
it's,
can't believe this is in the movie.
yeah, and
Like
it's
they cut it like this.
not something that I don't think you or me noticed it the first time we watched the movie. No fucking way.
Mm.
So I don't think it is an editing mistake because you're not supposed to watch a movie 33 times.
Yeah,
So from that perspective, it's hard to say that the movie is worse or better after 33 times. I think perhaps the movie is the movie, and maybe the first time watching it is in some way the only legit time watching it.
I think you might be onto something. I think you are cracking some kind of code here. That's that your insight is stupendously
But I don't think it's that.
riveting.
I don't think it's that uh, simple or like. Obviously, you're not supposed to watch a movie 52 times in a row, but uh, I mean, I make movies basically, right? And I watch something a lot, and then maybe I watch it a lot when I do it, but maybe like because I generally work pretty linearly, so maybe in the end I'm only watching the end part, and I kind of forget things in the beginning. So if I make someone watch something and they remember something from the first part, maybe I'm not even really aware of that anymore. Um, and this, I don't know. I think it's even watching a movie like 3 times is kind of weird because in
Maybe
some
just
way
watch.
you're trying to fool someone into a story,
Yeah,
basically.
but I think maybe just watching movies is weird. Like maybe engaging in a narrative of any kind is a fucking clown college.
Hmm.
You 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 just should not.
Yes.
partake in storytelling
The
unless
wisdoms
it's
of
unless
the
it's your
sleeping.
own.
Uh, I just think it's kind of an interesting perspective to think about. Like, at what point are you? At what point are you sort of not truthfully or honestly engaging with the narrative by breaking it down or repeating it? Especially like if you're
Yeah.
not, because if you're like telling a story that someone has made again, you're retelling a story, then at least you are partaking as a creator, or like you're sort of acting something out. But if you're just listening to the same story over and over again, at some point you might end up like, oh well, that doesn't fit together, or how did you think about, like, all those things will almost necessarily take you out of the immersion, right?
Well, we could try listening to the same audiobook 52 times
Mm.
and see if we hear anything.
And maybe it
That
just goes blank after the
yeah,
16th.
and
And
then my modifier would be that I exchanged your audiobook for a blank MP3, which just with the sound of nothing on it, and then you wouldn't notice, and then you'd have some insight like, this listen, I really felt like it was. Um, I started thinking about this particular chapter, and I was like, you haven't even heard it, and you would look really stupid. You would be insanely moronic.
mm,
That would be really funny.
I sense a change in you.
A change. I'm the same as I've always been.
Mm,
I am.
certainly.
I'm extremely even. I am the evenest in the land. No neighboring nation shall assail me with accusations of being uneven
Yeah.
in my very own court.
The Fire King became incensed when a neighboring country's leader said, I think I'm pretty even. He could not abide someone making such an insane statement. It must be an attack on the Fire King's very being.
Well,
The
I
Fire
want to.
King bound the, the opposing country's leader with a fiery rope and dispatched them into an endless pit.
Well,
The
I want.
Fire King could never sleep. It was a horrid existence, but at
I
least
want.
it was even.
I won't speak for the Fire King, but I would like to at least say that I empathize with the Fire King, but also that I am ready to disengage from this narrative. I feel that partaking in or engaging in general with stories and narratives of fictional Fire Kings and non-fictional, ludicrously antagonistical neighboring nations has gone beyond the scope of my duties, and I would wish to retire to my chambers and
Are you not
go
already there?
mine chamber corner, the corner of my chambers. My chamber is also my court.
Today actually marks not only the time we entered into counting down away from the 20s. This also marks the last time I will be recording Sting in this
Yes,
apartment. I
that
guess
is true.
that I just watched the Scorpion King for the last time in this apartment.
Mm.
That's a sort of a momentous as
Well,
well.
maybe. Well, I guess you will watch it, but it's not impossible that the next uh, denizen of the apartment will watch the Scorpion King at some
No,
point.
that's definitely true. I can't speak for if the Scorpion King will ever be watched again here. Though I do think this apartment has definitely done its share of watching the Scorpion King,
Scorpion King watched. Yeah,
housing it. It could probably retire reasonably.
sure.
I thought you were gonna turn off disco.
I was about
Heard the
to
word retire.
turn you off. I'm about to stop you.
Okay.
I'm about to lay down an edict in my lands, barring all foreign diplomats' entry into the court until further notice. If they are to be as insidiously uneven as they are in the realm at
I
present,
don't think you can call me uneven. I don't think that
well,
works. You'll have to find something else. It's gonna, it's just gonna. I'm wearing a raincoat here. It just washes off me.
we'll see what you think when my court diplomats draw up the edict of my proclamation that unevenness of this degree will not be allowed
Well,
in the realm
well,
or any
well.
realm. I'm about to go to war with your nation.
Maybe you should be allowed to go to bed.
I'll go to bed, and then I shall reconvene in the morning and decide the fate of your lands.
What does what would, if there was a king that definitely never saw any uttered word as a slight towards them, if there was such a being, would that being recommend people to watch the movie The Scorpion King, or would they perhaps make some sort of edict?
I think such a hypothetical king in their hypothetical kingdom, filled with its faithful hypothetical subjects, would all unanimously hypothetically decide that it is concretely illegal to watch the Scorpion King within the borders of the land for any reason, and any such watches are to be punished by extolation of life.
Does that mean death?
Sure.